*1# on any mobile phone and live unstoppable.
Enjoy the unlimited life with First Money Wallet. Dial *894 *1# on any mobile phone to activate now. You first. First Bank.
Farmer Governor Bago of Niger State releases 50,000 metric tons of grains to be sold at 50% discount in designated areas across the 25 local government areas of the state. Announcer, Governor's Media Team.
I have a little cough, sir, in my YouTube chest, sir. Anytime I cough, sir, it makes a healthy sound, sir.
Why? Daddy's coughing, Gina is coughing, so just run for cover.
Uniplex cough syrup contains ammonium chloride, diphenhydramine hydrochloride, sodium citrate, and menthol crystals to give you relief from sore throat, cold, and chesty cough.
Daddy, are we safe now?
Yeah! Uniplex cough syrup. Cage the cough, free your voice.
From Lagos, to lead Africa's digital trade revolution within the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Vice President Kashim Shettima outlined the key components of the roadmap during the shareholders' summit in Abuja. The strategy, according to him, includes implementation of a digital trade protocol and the development of expansive technical talent hubs.
Digital trade in Africa and the Renewed Hope strategy is the focus of this meeting, attended by Vice President Kashim Shettima alongside tech experts. The summit aims to identify opportunities for enhancing Nigeria's digital market within the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
As we look forward towards regional integration within AFCTA, we will even unlock more economic routes and opportunities. By aligning with the Digital Trade Protocol, we stand to elevate Nigeria's trade, foster economic growth, and improve the lives of our citizens to live better lives.
The federal government says it's stepping up its investments in technology to harness the opportunities in the sector.
This government is working actively and investing actively to ensure that Nigeria can actually provide the leadership that the continent requires when it comes to the single market. A market of 230 million people is not just an opportunity for Nigeria only, but an opportunity for the entire continent.
The Vice President believes Nigeria is in a unique position to spearhead technological transformation in Africa, as he outlines some of the strategies of the current government to grow the sector.
Beyond the key opportunities for enhancing Nigeria's digital trade, for a sector upon which all other sectors rely, our programs, from the investment in digital and creative enterprises (IDIs), to the ongoing intervention to train 3 million technical talents by the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Technology, to the Outsource to Nigeria initiative, are lifelines in our digital economy. They offer us an avenue to not only maximize our potential, but also commit to the adoption of the Digital Trade Protocol within AFCFTA.
Beyond talks, this summit is expected to unlock the market opportunities of digital technology through strengthened collaboration among African countries. From the presidential villa, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Days after his comments on the Bola Tinubu administration and subsequent removal as Senate Chief Whip, Senator Ali Ndume has broken his silence, saying he stands by his words as he did not find anything wrong in what he said to warrant his removal as the Chief Whip. Speaking at his country home in Maiduguri, Borno State, Senator Ndume also declined the chairmanship of the Senate Committee on Tourism. saying he lacks the experience and exposure to chair such a sensitive committee. On the charge to resign from the APC, the senator said he is a founding member of the party, but he will consult his people before making a decision on whether to leave the APC or not.
I did not contest to be the chief whip. I did not contest to be the vice chairman of Appropriation Committee. I contested to be the one of the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On me leaving the party, I'm a founding member of APC. In fact, I can say I was in APC before the national chairman because I'm a member of the NPDP that formed the APC, joined the coalition that formed the APC. And I did not do that just like that. It is in consultation with my people that I joined APC. On me being removed from being chairman of Appropriation Committee, still, the Appropriation Committee was given to me not because I was desperate about it. No, it was because I was begged to accept the position of chief whip, knowing fully that I led the campaign for emergence of Akpabio as the Senate president, and I was begged to to choose whichever committee I want to be the vice chairman, and I chose appropriation in order to stand for my people and make sure that there is justice in whatever they do.
Meanwhile, reactions have continued to trail the removal of Senator Ali Ndume as chief whip of the Senate, owing to his scathing criticism of the president and his party, the APC. The latest is from human rights activist and former Senator Shehu Sani, who says that Senator Ndume has a lot of channels to express his displeasure to the president and the party leadership as a principal officer. He also says the senator wasn't unaware of the consequences of his utterances.
He has a lot of channels to which he can actually reach out and express his opinion. And there's a difference between a senator who is not a principal officer and the one who is a principal officer. There are some privileges attached to principal officers, which is they have more access to the leadership in the country than even people who are simply floor members. So if you express your opinion, which you have the right to do that, the political party which you represent, which also send your name as a nominee for that principal office, can exercise its own right and say, this is what we don't agree with. So I think he's paying the price for his opinion, and he spoke not out of ignorance, but he very much knew the consequences of what will happen to him.
To Edo State now, where the state government says the All Progressives Congress, the APC, is planning to get the leaders of the ruling People's Democratic Party, the PDP, arrested ahead of the September 21st governorship election. The Edo State Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, Chris Nahikare, stated this during a press briefing in Benin City, the Edo State capital. He said the APC orchestrated the shooting incident in the proposed homecoming for Philip Shaibu, and according to him, Mr. Shaibu and the APC supporters defied police orders to go ahead with the rally.
The Edo State Commissioner of Police rushed to the airport and advised Mr. Philip Shaibu and his co-traveler, the candidate of the APC, and told them that a notice of state execution has been filed. And as such, what you're planning to do, you cannot invade Edo State Government House. Because apparently the police had the intelligence reports that that was their plan. And not only that, it was also told and shown the documents where this order of this file, this motion was submitted to the IG of police and even to his own office that this has been done. With total disregard for the Commissioner of Police for Law and Order, Shaibu insisted on storming Benin City. He was doing this even though the police commissioner had seen that he had come in with thugs, and advised him to disperse the thugs and not do the road work he was planning to do. I told him that his thugs are armed because they were openly brandishing their guns. They were not hidden, openly brandishing weapons. Their plan was that they want to cause as much destruction, as much mayhem, as much chaos within the Benin metropolis. Because when this is done, they can now cry to the federal government to come and start making arrests of the Edo PDP politicians, including myself. Because they want us off the way so that they can do whatever they want to do for the election to give them some advantage. But that's not really the issue. The federal government is aware, and we believe at this point should actually set up a high-powered investigative panel to investigate exactly what happened yesterday.
And in reaction to the allegations made against him insinuating his involvement in the shooting at the airport road in the Edo State capital, the reinstated Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu claims that the Edo Vigilante Network is responsible for the incident. He was speaking on our political program, Politics Today.
When we had the primaries, the same governor ordered that they must stop any protest by anybody close to me because of what they were going to do. I got all the intel, and I also took to beat all the people he said to maim us on the day of the primaries. If you go to my official residence after the primary, you see what the Edo Vigilante did. They shot at the door, came en masse to the shooting, but the luck we had was that injuries, but there were no death. And that is why you didn't hear much about what happened on the day of the primaries. So they are synonymous to that. What they do, their style is that in the morning, they will pull a story through their media rat to say, X person want to do X. In the afternoon, that will happen through them because that's how they operate. So if you watch, in the morning, they did publish that with those their media rat that Philip is mobilizing talks to force him to this way to resume. When I saw it, I informed the police because I know what they have said is what they want to do. But I didn't know that they were coming to the airport to do that until we got to the airport. So for me, that is how they'll be doing blinking.
All right.
The way and style they use is you can predict everything that they do. I'm celebrating victory, that God has given me victory, I've been vindicated. Then as I'm celebrating, I'll now organize talks to come and attack me. What will I achieve with it?
Staying with the reinstated Deputy Governor of Edo State, Mr. Philip Shaibu has approved the reappointment of some principal officers in his office. Some of the appointees are Mr. Kingsley Ehiagamuso as Chief of Staff, Office of the Deputy Governor, and Mr. Musa Ebomiana as Chief Press Secretary. All the appointees are with immediate effect. The State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Mr. Chris Naikari, however, describes the appointments as fake. He says government has observed some unsigned statements circulating on social media concerning the appointment of certain persons as aides in the office of the Deputy Governor. He then urged the public to disregard the document, describing it as completely false. In part two, after the break, operatives of the Nigerian Air Force destroys canoes carrying illegally refined petroleum products in a river state. Please stay with us.
What? Have you seen the remote?
No, I haven't seen it.
How did you do that?
Yes, you can. And you can do it now with Taj Bank. Open an account with as little as 500 naira and earn profits with the Mudaraba savings account with Taj Bank. Enjoy zero account maintenance, withdraw as many times as possible and still get profits. Offer is open to both new and existing customers. Open an account by downloading the Tajway app on Play Store, the Apple Store, or walk into any Taj Bank branch closest to you. Taj Bank, our only interest is you.
Don't worry, we'll talk later, yeah?
Buddy,
how far?
Give me small spot, I beg. Make I play game, I beg.
Oh, yeah, now.
Thanks, G.
Yo, see if I don't come out. Buddy, how far now? I got you.
Buddy, I beg, make I connect, I beg. I need to stream.
Enjoy 100% data bonus with live data. Dial *312# to enjoy.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data.
Glow Unlimited.
The National Assembly Joint Committee on Electoral Matters to focus on amendments that contribute to improving the electoral process in the country for the good of society and not to advance individual gains. The governor maintained that any legislation targeting to empower or undo any particular individual or individuals is misplaced. Governor Fubara stated this when he hosted the delegation of the National Assembly Joint Committee on Electoral Matters, led by its chairman, Senator Sharafuddin Abiodun Ali, and co-chair Honorable Adebayo Balogun, on a courtesy visit to the Government House in Port Harcourt.
The National Assembly's Joint Committee on Electoral Matters, led by the chairman, Senator Sharafuddin Ali from Oyo State, and co-chair Honorable Adebayo Balogun from Lagos State, is visiting Rivers State as part of the engagement on proposed amendments to the Electoral Act. The delegation also includes Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua from Katsina State, who is the vice chairman of the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters. In his address, Senator Ali, who chairs the committee in the Senate, emphasizes the necessity of amending the Electoral Act, especially after the 2023 elections. He highlights the importance of involving the public in the lawmaking process to boost electoral participation, particularly in the challenging terrain of the South-South region, the use of technology, and the agitation to conclude litigation before swearing in of elected officials.
Apart from the issue of women and the youth, the South-South, because of the topographic nature of the place, is one of the most difficult terrains where we are having elections in Nigeria. And we need to let people here tell us how the challenges that they are facing during elections could be ameliorated in the lawmaking process. Hence are coming here.
Governor Similayi Fubara, in his response, acknowledged the country's critical political climate, noting that any mistakes could exacerbate the situation due to heightened political awareness and involvement. He expresses the hope that the committee's findings will help develop a robust framework to improve the electoral process.
If we make any mistake at this point, all the good works that we have done before will be forgotten. And it will be like we're starting afresh. This is because the political awareness and involvement today is not like what we used to see 10 years, 20 years ago. Everybody now understands that political involvement is the key to a better and developed state.
The governor also encouraged increased women involvement in governance, assuring that Rivers State will be amongst the first to implement the committee's resolution once they are formalized into policies. He also urged the National Assembly members to legislate with integrity, reminding them that they might one day be part of the executive branch responsible for implementing the laws they enact today.
I wish one day a woman will even be the governor of Rivers State. Maybe all this embattlement that we're going through will not be there. Because I think the struggle is more for men and men. When it's women, people will be, at least the world will say, how can you be fighting a woman like this? Let her So, but that is by the way, though. Legislate in such a way, a manner, knowing fully well that tomorrow you will also sit here.
The committee had before the visit held a South-South Zonal Legislative Interactive Session with the theme Legislation, Women and Elections in Difficult Terrain, Beating the Odds.
Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State is urging residents of the state not to join the proposed nationwide protest on the standard of living in the country. Governor Zulum made the plea during a town hall meeting at the government house in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. The governor believes the state cannot afford to compromise the peace the state has experienced after years of insecurity. Already the state command of the Nigeria police has arrested a suspect over alleged plots to mobilize residents of the state for the protests.
I stand before you today at a crucial moment for our beloved Borno State. Over the years, we have faced numerous challenges, from insurgency to economic hardships. Despite these obstacles, we have witnessed a gradual return of peace and stability. This progress is a testament to the resilience and collective efforts of every citizen, leader, and organization within our community. However, the proposed mass protest threatens to undermine this hard-won progress, and it is imperative that we consider the potential consequences carefully. While the right to protest is fundamental in a democracy, we must acknowledge the high likelihood of such actions being manipulated by anarchists and enemies of peace. These elements thrive on chaos and discord, seeking to drain our collective efforts and exploit our vulnerabilities. Such manipulation could lead to violence, property destruction, and a setback in the progress we have painstakingly achieved.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has stated the military's readiness to ensure that Nigeria achieves her crude oil production quota and tackle oil theft in the country. He made this known while addressing State House correspondents after a security meeting with President Bola Tinubu in Abuja, the nation's capital. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, who also attended the meeting, adds that the crime rate in the country is on the decline.
Mr. President is happy with what we are doing. He's satisfied with our reports. He has challenged us to continue to work together and improve our synergy. I have the records of all reported crimes across the country, and I can tell you that crime rate is declining in Nigeria. Records don't lie. The records are there. So I can assure you that we continue to do whatever we are doing to maintain the decline in the crime rate.
As usual, you know, Nigeria relies a lot on what we produce. And his mandate, like we mentioned days back, is for us to restore full production. We are targeting 2.1 million barrels per day, which is achievable. So we are taking steps to ensure that all that is required to be done is done. The president is fully aware of the cries and hues of the communities, and he's not going to let them down. The communities should rest assured that steps are going to be taken to address their grievances so that productions will continue. And for the criminals, those ones that are hell-bent in destroying our infrastructure, stealing our crude for whatever reason, the days are numbered. They should rest assured that we're coming after them. And want to assure Nigerians that we all need to put hands together to achieve this success. Nobody can do it alone. No single service, no single individual can do this. We all need to work together, including the states. We understand that communities are going through so much, and the president is going to address those issues to ensure that we have full production.
Still talking security, the Nigerian Air Force says that they have destroyed crude Kanos carrying what is suspected to be illegally refined petroleum products. A press release issued by the Director of Public Relations and Information in the Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, revealed the operation occurred on Thursday, July the 18th, around Obenibokiri, a riverine community in Asari Toro local government area of Rivers State. The statement further explains that the air asset carried out patrols around Kolo Creek and Sokosamba trunk lines as well. The statement adds that air operations against the activities of the oil thieves and other criminals in the Niger Delta and in support of ground forces will continue across the region. The Air Force is then appealing to law-abiding citizens to key into the efforts of security agencies to deter the activities of these economic saboteurs, which will go a long way in checkmating their activities. And more on security in what appears to be a swift response to the Chief of Defense Staff directive to curb illegal oil refining in the Niger Delta. The commander of the Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral John Okeke, has commenced a tour of some areas believed from intel to be flashpoints. In furtherance to the directive, Rear Admiral Okeke and his team raided communities in Umore, Abia, and Rivers states, where large-scale illegal refining activities were discovered following intelligence reports.
The JTF Commander South-South Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral John Okeke, heeds to the directive from the Chief of Defense Staff and is personally leading men and officers of his squad to areas on a sensitization tour of communities identified as hubs to illegal refining after the security meeting.
Where the entrance to this place?
The essence of the tour is to identify these flashpoints where illegal refining of oil goes on, assess the situation, and sensitize locals in these communities participating in the nefarious act to desist from it. His first stop is Umori community in Okwa West LGA, Abia State. On ground here are various equipment used for illegal refining of crude oil, as well as various quantities of locally already refined products. The next stop is Oyibo LGA. A similar scenario plays out. Rear Admiral Keke explains that the tour targeted areas marked as hubs for illegal activities due to their proximity to pipeline crossing and flow stations.
Our emphasis is on Zone 5, 8, and 4. And of course, what constitutes attraction for criminals is pipeline. Because that's where they source their crude oil, they are illegal by connecting, doing a kind of illegal connections. And they're tapping from the wellheads. So, because we have identified these 9 flashpoints, which of course is affecting our output, that is why I need to undertake my tour, starting from this zone.
On Wednesday, the Chief of Defense Staff held a crucial meeting with divisional commanders and other security agencies, issuing a 2-week deadline to improve oil production by eliminating illegal refining activities in the Niger Delta. This directive came from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the service chiefs. The Joint Task Force JTF South-South Operation Delta Safe, composed of 12 forces, is primarily responsible for protecting the country's oil facilities in Niger Delta. Deborah Abalama, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10.
First Money is Nigeria's most preferred agent banking network. Thanks to First Money, millions of people are living their dreams. Meet some First Money agents who are driving this.
First Money is the best POS that we use in my area. I started with 1 container beside me. This is my main branch. I have up to 7 branches.
With First Money, I've been able to employ 6 staffs, which 5 are female. So I see First Money as a business to employ and also to empower ladies.
Through First Money, over 1 million people across Nigeria have their financial services needs met daily. In all the accessible local government areas, you are bound to find First Money agents. With First Money, we're bringing financial inclusion and the many benefits that come with it. You first, First Bank.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of a family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services, all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
Welcome back. So let's now head to the nation's capital, and Terry Kumi is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Over to you, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Ayo. Happy Friday. The 16th Emir of Kano, His Highness Muhammadu Sanusi II, is lamenting the economic hardship faced by Nigerians. The Emir made the statement during the flag-off of the distribution of free fertilizer to 52,800 smallholder farmers across the 44 local government areas of Kano State. It says the people can hardly bear the situation. Our correspondent Sadiq Ilyasu reports.
The 16th Emir of Kano, His Highness Muhammadu Sanusi II, along with the newly appointed second-class Emirs of Gaya and Arai, are in the Kano State Government House to witness the distribution of free fertilizer to farmers across the state. 52,800 farmers, including women and persons living with disabilities, are to receive 25 kg of NPK fertilizer.
This fertilizer you are seeing comes from the production of the Rotund Kano Agricultural Supply Company in Kasbu. And we shall continue to support this local production as much as possible.
While speaking, the 16th Emir of Kano laments the economic hardship faced by Nigerians and urges the government to do more to reduce the hardship.
People are in dire situation. I'm aware that people now resort to buying half pepper because of the high cost of food items. This is unbearable, but I think with effort like this, people can get some relief.
The emirs of Gaya and Karai believe that the distribution of fertilizer free of charge would go a long way to ensuring food security in the state.
These glaring efforts we have never seen in Kano State, and therefore it is our paramount duty to appreciate and thank His Excellency sincerely for your determination and commitment to boost agriculture in Kano State.
The people of Gaya will be very happy with this effort because we are farmers, and now more than ever, we need this intervention.
The initiative aims to alleviate economic hardship and promote food security among smallholder farmers in Kano State. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
It's all about health, water, sanitation and hygiene for the people of Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, as the state government receives a delegation from the United Nations on a tour of some critical communities in the state. The UN Assistant Secretary General and Resident Humanitarian Coordinator in Nigeria, Mr. Mohammed Fall, pledges support for the erosion-devastated communities in Anambra State, while the Minister of Health, Professor Muhammad Ali Pati, commends Governor Chukwuma Soludo for his commitment to the health of Anambra people through the State Health Insurance Scheme.
The United Nations delegation, led by the Assistant Secretary General and Resident Humanitarian Coordinator in Nigeria, Mr. Mohammed Malik Fall, is received by the Chief of Staff to the Anambra State Governor. The visit is to assess the extent of government's interventions in areas of health, water, sanitation and welfare of citizens, and see how the United Nations will step up support, as there's been an existing MOU with the UNDP and the Anambra State Government. Achanja Market is the first port of call where the sanitary condition is commended, and the next is Okoko community, one of the highest populated areas in Anambra State with over 1 million residents. At Okoko, the erosion is devastating and shocking to the United Nations envoy, as over 100 households have been displaced.
Wherever I have traveled, I have seen, some challenge or mix of natural hazard and some physical constraints coming from the nature. But something like this, I haven't seen it, and I think it will require a big cooperation involving maybe scientists who study soil texture, environmentalists who look at also the natural hazard because of flood and non-control of the water coming from the rain. Could be also an explanation.
In another development, Governor Chukwuma Soludo receives the Minister of Health, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia. The minister commends Governor Soludo's efforts with the state health insurance scheme.
I know that there are lots of steps that people may not be aware of, but thanks to your leadership and the SHA, at least 400,000 people in Anambra have access to health insurance. That's a large number of that is coming from the share. So really appreciate that effort that you are putting in primary health care, in your hospitals, but also through the health insurance system that you have.
For Governor Chukwuma Soludo, human capital is a critical part of development and health is primary.
It is part of this effort when we launched the free antenatal, free delivery for pregnant women, including CS operations and so on, that are recorded. We've had over 60,000 beneficiaries and with near zero mortality. If you go to a public hospital or health center, whatever, you have your facilities free of charge.
The meeting affords the health minister room to highlight the president's 4 working areas in the health sector that include good governance towards enhancing stronger health institutions.
Well, from Anambra, let's go to Benue State now, where the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission are advocating for public institutions at all levels to uphold fiscal responsibility in procurement processes and contract awards. The Anti-Corruption Commissioner for ICPC in Benue State and the Makodi EFCC Zonal Commander made the call at a 3-day training on due process and administration in public procurement and awards of contracts in Makodi, the Benue State capital. 11 Nigerians from the Niger Delta region have bagged distinctions from Coventry University in the United Kingdom. The 11 students who were part of the 200 from the same region who completed the NDDC Foreign Postgraduate Scholarship Program are part of the graduation ceremony of Coventry University. Joining them at this event were management staff of the NDDC led by CEO Dr. Samuel Obuku and Chairman Senate Committee on NDDC Asukwo Ekpenyong.
Like proud parents, a delegate from Nigeria led by Senator Asukwo Ekpenyong, Chairman Senate Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission, and the CEO of NDDC, Dr. Samuel Obuku, arrived in Coventry in the West Midlands County to celebrate some Nigeria scholars who are graduating. They may not be biologically related, but are united in achievement, having been sponsored by the Niger Delta Development Commission in their higher education endeavor. One after another, those Nigerian names were called out from the podium to the applause of the academic community present.
This set alone, all 200 scholars graduated with exceedingly good marks. That shows that the process is working. We're aiding our people to get a better opportunity at education, and we expect them to bring that to bear in the Niger Delta region as they return home.
Every year, and as part of what the management of NDDC says is a flagship program, sponsors 200 Nigerian students from the 9 coverage states to international higher education program in the UK
the United States, Australia, and Canada.
This underscores the transparent process of which these beneficiaries are being selected, for you to see that 11 at a time are graduating with distinction, all in this particular university. So I think we're here to celebrate with them.
What's more, 11 of these young Nigerian international students at Coventry made distinctions, perhaps demonstrating what a push can do to a life.
Initially, I didn't even know it was going to be possible because, but after I passed my interview, I was shocked when I got my invitation saying that I was successful.
And I thank NDDC and I thank every other person that's been involved in this journey for making the landing softer than it could have been for me if I did it by myself.
I've graduated today with a distinction in Masters of Business Administration, Artificial Intelligence, and I'm happy. My family, my friends, everyone is here to celebrate with me, and I'm very thankful.
As the Commission, and by extension Nigeria, celebrates, the NDDC is quick to outline the processes of getting enlisted.
It's no longer about Nigeria, it's about the global world. And so we give them the opportunity to go study abroad and come back and create opportunity for others and also contribute to the development of the region.
The scholarship covers a wide range of fields, including engineering, law, health, and social sciences, among others. And it's open to candidates who have gained admission for postgraduate program in any of the listed disciplines in a foreign university. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. Back to you, Ayo.
Thank you so much, Terry. Lafarge Africa PLC has launched a new line of eco-friendly cement product called EcoPlanet, a 30% low-carbon footprint cement built to deliver high performance with global sustainability objectives. According to the CEO, Lafarge Africa PLC, Mr. Lolo Alade Akinyemi, the initiative underscores Lafarge Africa's dedication to sustainability and its efforts to lower carbon emissions in the construction industry.
Fulani, we could also see the Igbo. So across.
It's the official launch of Lafarge Africa PLC's new line of cement called EcoPlanet, a 30% low carbon emission product built to deliver high performance with global sustainability objectives.
That I seize upon this moment.
The CEO of Lafarge Africa PLC, Mr. Lulu Alade Akinyemi, other members of the organization, customers and government representatives from Enugu and Ebonyi State are all here for the event. The product is unveiled on the big screen as the CEO goes on to cut the ribbon and then unveil it to special guests and customers.
Today, we are proud to introduce to you EcoPlanet Cement, our revolutionary eco-friendly cement product. And this is
that it is imbued to provide more durable, high-performance concrete than Portland cement. It will lower energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions.
One after the other, representatives of the Enugu and Ebonyi state governments commend the company and its role in strengthening the cement industry in the country.
Way of meeting our goal for the people of this state. Driving a governance that is people-oriented through everything we do and in the ways that we do them, and also empowering the private sector towards a climate-friendly industrialization of this state.
Representing other customers and end users, the diamond customer of Lafarge Africa PLC from the South-South region speaks highly of the product and the future it promises.
The future that you can be sure of is the future you can predict. And one of the futures we can predict is by using EcoPlanet.
That's right.
If we use Lafarge EcoPlanet, we can predict the future.
The CEO of Lafarge is proud of its achievement and dedication to lower carbon emissions in the construction industry.
We're very proud of this achievement. It underscores our passion and our commitment to sustainability and innovation, and our desire to be the leader in sustainable construction. Climate change is a real issue, and we believe as leaders in the construction industry, we have to lead, and showcase and demonstrate that we care about the environment.
As Lafarge rolls out this new product as the first carbon emission cement in Nigeria, it promises continuous innovation beyond the 30% in the nearest future.
Business News is up next with Joker Rogers. Joker?
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Ayo. Today, welcome to more business news. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it may invest funds from unclaimed balances in the country's treasury bills and other federal government securities. This is according to its newly released guidelines on management of dormant accounts, unclaimed balances, and other financial assets in banks and other financial institutions. Under the new guidelines, the CBN says it plans to create and manage a dedicated account called the Unclaimed Balances Trust Fund pool account to warehouse unclaimed balances. Now, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has imposed a $220 million penalty on Meta, the parent company of WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Meta Platforms Incorporated, over alleged discriminatory practices in Nigeria, according to a statement released today and signed by the agency's acting chief executive officer, Adamu Abdullahi. The penalty follows a joint investigation by FCCPC and the Nigeria Data Protection Commission into Meta Platforms' conduct, privacy policies, and the operation and practices over a 38-month period. Now let's take you through today's stock market figures at the Nigerian stock market.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. TGIF trading session ended in the green today, even though it's marginal, 0.04%, still staying above the 100,000 level for the all-share index. That's good sectoral performance. All sectors we track closed in the red. The likes of FBNH down about 3.29%, GTCO 0.77%. Shaved off the share price, bringing the banking counter down about 0.75% today. We've seen financial services sectors get hit in this trading sessions for this week. Consumer goods, 0.15% down. Then the market mover today, MTN Nigeria, closing at 200 naira per share. Quite interesting. Yesterday, Airtel Africa added in pulling the market up, and today it's MTN. Telecom companies on the move, but we know 2024 has been quite tough for this stock there. But now trading at 200 now. So it's looking like a positive week for the local boss. We'll give you a summary for the week on capital markets, 7 p.m. tomorrow. But today, it's green.
And we close business.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Joker. CrowdStrike CEO George Kurtz has apologized for the global IT outage that occurred earlier today. Mr. Kurtz says his firm is working closely with affected customers and partners to ensure that all systems are restored and delivered, that services are delivered. Here's Sami Puzi with more on this and other international news now and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Major IT outages have hit industries across the world, with almost 1,400 flights being cancelled and banking, healthcare and shops affected. There are huge queues in airports around the world after cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike says a defect in one of its software updates hit Windows operating systems. CrowdStrike has lost a fifth of its value in pre-market trading in the US, down 21%, a loss of $16 billion in its overnight valuation. The issue has been identified, isolated, and a fix has been deployed, the firm says. This was the scene at Disneyland Paris, with error messages displayed on screens at the amusement park. On X, Elon Musk tried to sum up the incident, saying it was the biggest IT fail ever.
Since the problem with this software affects Windows computers and it makes Windows computers crash with their traditional blue screen, most people would assume it's a problem with Microsoft's software, and so Microsoft is also helping its customers deal with the outage, even if it's not caused by Microsoft itself.
5 days after surviving an assassination attempt, Donald Trump has addressed the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee in Wisconsin. In a speech lasting an hour and a half, he described feeling the assassin's bullet hit his ear and being smothered by Secret Service agents. His address lasted 90 minutes and was a mix of script and ad-lib. The former president told supporters about his attempted assassination and his plans for the country.
There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that.
Meanwhile, Melania and Ivanka Trump made a rare appearance at the Republican National Convention, showing support for Donald Trump's bid. Entering the event in Milwaukee to a warm round of applause, the former president's wife waved to the crowd before taking a seat in the family box. Unlike previous Republican conventions in 2016 and 2020, she did not give a speech. She was joined by Mr. Trump's eldest daughter, Ivanka, and her husband, Jared Kushner, who has also been noticeably absent from the campaign trail. US journalist Evan Gershkovich has been sentenced by a Russian court to 16 years in a high-security penal colony on espionage charges. The Wall Street Journal reporter was first arrested last March while on a reporting trip in the city of Yekaterinburg, about 1,600 kilometers east of Moscow, by security services. Prosecutors have accused him of working for the CIA, accusations Mr. Gershkovich, the Wall Street Journal, and the US deny. It marks the first conviction of a US journalist for espionage in Russia since the Cold War ended more than 30 years ago. Protesters have stormed the building compound of the Bangladesh state broadcaster BTV in Dhaka as violence sparked by student anger against quotas for government jobs escalated nationwide. Videos shot by an eyewitness show a mob of demonstrators armed with rocks and sticks tearing through the gates of the TV station. Protesters were also seen throwing rocks and smashing windows in the compound. The violence in 47 of Bangladesh's 64 districts has killed at least 27 and injured 1,500. 2 large oil tankers were on fire in waters near Singapore, the world's biggest refueling port, with 2 crew members airlifted to hospital and others rescued from life rafts. The Singapore-flagged tanker Hafnia Nile and Principe-flagged tanker Ceres 1 were about 55 kilometers northeast of the Singaporean island of Pedra Branca. The 22 crew of the Hafnia Nile and the 40 on the Ceres 1 were all accounted for. The cause of the fires was not immediately clear, but the owner of the Hafnia Nile said the vessel was involved in a collision with the Ceres 1. And China has sent a new Earth observation satellite into space from the Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center in North China's Shanxi province. The Gaofen 1105 satellite lifted off atop a Long March 4B carrier rocket and entered its intended orbit. The satellite will carry out national land surveys, urban planning, land rights verification, road network planning, crop yield estimation, and disaster response efforts. The launch marked the 528th flight mission for China's Long March series of carrier rockets. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Nigeria's senior women's basketball team lost to Germany women's basketball team 63-77 in a pre-Olympic basketball friendly earlier today in Berlin. Amy Okonkwo was the best performer for Nigeria in the clash with 16 points and 2 rebounds, and Coach Renner says the girl still has a lot to do before the games in Paris. The coaching crew will improve on their play. The reigning Afro-Basket champions will test Serbia in another game in Belgrade on July the 21st and Japan in Lille, France on July the 24th. More athletes and delegation have continued tripping in at the Olympic Games village in Paris. The latest includes athletes and staff members from Germany, Belgium, India, and Brazil. Members of the refugee Olympic team also made their way to the Olympic village earlier today, where they will be housed alongside the rest of the Paris 2024 athletes as they prepare to go for gold at the Summer Games. And Rafael Nadal fights into the semi-finals of the Bostad Open earlier today as he defeated Argentina's Mariano Navone 6-7, 7-5, 7-5 in 3 hours and 59 minutes. The 22-time Grand Slam champion is through to the last four for tournament for the first time since Wimbledon 2 years ago and will face Duji Djokovic in the last four. And Mason Greenwood says he's focusing on club football this season, having signed for Marseille, as the club's president claims he understood the complexity around his transfer from Manchester United. At the unveiling ceremony earlier today, Greenwood says he already feels at home at the French club and is excited for the chance to play at the Stade Velodrome. And that's Sports News. It's back to you, Ayotunde.
Many thanks, Chris. And the main news again. The federal government today unveiled a strategy to lead Africa's digital trade revolution within the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Vice President Shettima outlined the roadmap at the summit in Abuja. The lawmaker representing Borno South, Senator Ali Ndume, broke his silence over his removal as the Senate Chief Whip. The senator who stood by his comments, however, declined appointment as Tourism Committee Chairman in the Senate. And the Edo State government accused Philip Shaibu of orchestrating the violence that claimed one life in Benin. The reinstated deputy governor, however, lays the blame at the doors of the state government.